Brandon Stephens has been targeted 54 times this season, 13 more than any other Ravens defender. Opposing offenses have tested Stephens even when he's playing tight coverage. With the league leading 21 tight window targets, Stephens has allowed the most receptions, 10, yards 121, and receptions over expected, plus 3.8 tight windows of any defender this season. Brandon Stephens, second most among quarterbacks, Marcus Williams, third most among safeties, Roquan Smith, most among linebackers, and Eddie Jackson, fifth most among safeties, all rank in the bottom fifth in most target EPA allowed this season at their positions. Stephens has allowed plus 6.8 receptions over expected this season, the most as the nearest defender. Smith has allowed 9.4 yards per target this season, fourth most in the league. The Ravens have allowed a league low 10 explosive runs, 10 plus yards this season, but have allowed a league high 74 explosive pass plays, 15 plus yards, 12 more than the next closest team. The Ravens' 5.0% explosive run rate allowed is the lowest by any defense in the NGS era since 2016. Kyle Hamilton is the only defender to play over 5% of their snaps at edge, 30% at linebacker, 25% at slot cornerback, 25% as safety this season. Hamilton has allowed just 2.6 yards per target when aligned as safety in 2024, fifth fewest in NFL compared to 5.4 yards per target from any other alignment. The Ravens have allowed 65 completions on passes of 10 air yards this season, the most in the NFL. The Ravens have allowed plus 60 EPA, second most, and 55% completion percentage, fifth highest on such passes in 2024. The Ravens defense has generated pressure at the seventh lowest rate, 30% this season, but have 28 total sacks, fifth most. Correspondingly, the Ravens have the fourth highest pressure to sack conversion percentage this season, 24%, the highest percentage for the Ravens since at least 2018. The Ravens lead the NFL in rushing yards per game, 191 rushing yards per game, allowed 75 yards per carry, 5.9 in yards per carry, allowed 3.4 through 9 weeks. The Ravens are on pace to be the first team in the Super Bowl era and just the fourth team since yards were first tracked in 1932 to lead the NFL in all four categories. Nnamdi Madubuike tied a career high by generating 7 pressures on 48 pass rushes, 14.6%, while accumulating a career high 3 sacks. Both of Madubuike's two highest pressure totals in a game this season have come against the Bengals. He had 6 pressures in week 5. In terms of rushing direction, teams that have faced the Ravens have fared well running middle right, middle left, maybe right tackle. In terms of coverage grades, Brandon Stephens and Roquan Smith have one of the lowest. Kyle Hamilton has one of the highest, along with Marlon Humphrey. Brandon Stephens has allowed a reception percentage of 66%, and Roquan Smith has allowed 81%. Stephens has allowed 40 receptions on 60 targets. Smith has allowed 34 on 42 targets. Brandon Stephens has allowed 555 yards, 7 forced incompletions though, 3 TDs. Marlon Humphrey has allowed 3 TDs. Darius Washington has allowed 4. Tre'Davious White has allowed 4. Brandon Stephens has 4 penalties. Marlon Humphrey has 6. Nate Wiggins has 6. Tre'Davious White has 5. If you're looking at ESPN's edge pass rush win rate rankings, Odafe Oweh is 14th for Baltimore. He is 18% win rate at the right edge rusher, and at defense tackle, he's 12%. Kyle Van Noy is 16% and 20th best at the right, and at defense tackle, he's 20%. Overall win rate rankings, Baltimore Ravens is 22nd in pass rush win rate, 24th in run stop win rate, 10th in pass block win rate, and 4th in run block win rate. So the offense is definitely the strength of their team. Their O-line is very good, not very good at stopping the run. In terms of pass rush grades, Kyle Van Noy and Odafe Oweh both have 14% win rate, which is the best on the team. Kyle Hamilton has an 8% win rate, only rushes 9% of the time. In a true pass set, Kyle Van Noy has 22%, Kyle Hamilton has 18%, and Odafe Oweh has 18%. Kyle Van Noy has 35 pressures of any kind. Odafe Oweh has 27 pressures of any kind. Ravens, on average, for the offense, they score 31 points. On defense, they allow 25 points on average. The Chargers, on average, their offense scores 20 and their defense allows 13. So if you average those two averages, I get 23 to 22. So that might be the sweet spot right there. Around 22, 23 points could be the defining points of the game. Coverage scheme, they run man percentage about 30% of the time. Brandon Stephens, Marlon Humphrey, both cornerbacks, and Nate Wiggins, other cornerback, have been targeted the most. Brandon Stephens has allowed the most receptions, 14 of 21 targets for 165 yards. Nate Wiggins has allowed 12 of 20 for 187. Marlon Humphrey has 4 pass breakups. Darius Washington has 3 pass breakups. Eddie Jackson, safety, has allowed 3 touchdowns in man coverage. In terms of zone, they run it about 62% of the time. At least that's true for Brandon Stephens and Eddie Jackson. Over Roquan Smith runs it 75% of the time. Kyle Hamilton 81% of the time. Marlon Humphrey 72% of the time. Brandon Stephens has allowed 22 receptions on 35 targets for 365 yards. Only 1 touchdown. Marcus Williams Williams, 2 touchdowns. Tre'Davious White, 4 touchdowns. In terms of run defense grades, Roquan Smith has 20 stops. Trenton Simpson has 13. Kyle Hamilton has 13. Madubuike has 11. Odafe Owe has 11. Travis Jones, defensive interior, has 10. Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Odafe Owe have 6, 6, and 5 penalties.